To think or not to think? While some thinking is necessary for physical survival, most thinking makes life needlessly complex. Most thinking is the result of our lack of acceptance, our resistance to what is. This kind of thinking comes from our small self-identification. It brings toil, planning, manipulation. It is always trying to change what it is. It is thinking for or against, either or. It moves in perpetual duality, slipping from one extreme to another like a pendulum. There's no peace here, except perhaps for the observer. But there is another kind of thinking. It is spontaneous and unfolds in the moment. It requires no forethought, no deliberation. It has no plan, and it is not attached to any outcome. This kind of thinking comes from a graceful end when the thought is expressed or the action performed. It does not perpetuate itself or create complexity. Spontaneous thinking is aligned with the truth of our experience. It tells the truth courageously, but does not seek to make that truth true for anyone else. Spontaneous thinking is not reactive. It does not attempt to defend its experience against anyone else's. This kind of thinking makes no enemies, for it neither attacks nor defends. It merely witnesses to its experience and holds a space for others to witness to their experience. This kind of thinking has no need to be right or to be wrong or to make others wrong. It can be right only because others are right too. No exclusivity or specialness is claimed. Spontaneous thinking does not say, I am more important than you are, or you are more important than I am. These thoughts belong to another consciousness and a different world. Spontaneous thought is mind in the service of love and acceptance. Mind in itself is not the problem. Mind is open like a reed. If you blow through it, you will hear a flute singing. But that same mind, in the service of fear, retribution, or greed, becomes the housing for a poison dart. Now, when you blow, someone dies. No, mind is not the problem. It is how mind is used. When the reed is empty, blowing through it makes a beautiful sound, a sound that returns effortlessly to silence. When mind is still, thoughts arise spontaneously, offer themselves, and die in the wind. There is no complexity here. The goal is not to make thinking go away, but to slow it down, to de-energize and diffuse the analytical mind so that it comes to rest in a natural container. All that stands out about the individual, all that separates and divides, rests in that which has never known division. Call it love, compassion, heart-mind, names do not matter. When you see which of your thoughts are restless and which are driven by fear, you no longer need to react to those thoughts. You don't have to believe them or disbelieve them. You just let them be. You just take a deep breath and watch the pendulum swing back and forth until you find your center. And then you rest in that stillness, in that peace. Once you are there, you no longer desire to be anywhere else. Once you are there, you cannot be attacked by your thoughts or anyone else's. Self-discovery. The discovery of self is not a process of finding what is true, but of peeling away what is false. What is true cannot be found. It is ever present. Only our awareness of it comes and goes. You cannot find your true self because the part of you that looks for it is the very aspect that obscures it. Indeed, seeking truth is a non-sequitur. As soon as truth is sought, it becomes hidden. The great conceit of Western esoterica is that truth can be found. This is the inevitable result of a mind out of touch with nature and its own physical embodiment. Truth is, it can be experienced in the moment, but it cannot be conceptualized. The mind cannot make truth. It can only receive it. Truth exists before mind states are created. That is why those who merge with truth are said to be of no mind. No mind and truth are different names for the same thing. No mind is an empty reed. Thoughts come and go on the screen of consciousness. The breath enters one end of the reed and leaves the other. The reed is not dependent on the breath. Consciousness is not dependent on thoughts. When thoughts die, consciousness remains. When the breath ends, the reed still holds the potential of sound. It does not matter if the reed is ever picked up. It does not matter if another thought arises on the screen of consciousness. When thoughts arise, there is awareness of thoughts. When thoughts no longer arise, there is just awareness. That which is prior to the thought exists in you. That which is prior to body or mind is your essence. But it cannot be found with mind or body. It cannot find the Creator through its creation. Even if you investigate every aspect of creation, you will eventually come to the end of it all. And at the end, there is the abyss. There, in that free fall, is that original explosion. You discover either that you are the Creator or that you are not. Either way, the game of seeking comes to an end. Once you know who you are, you cannot give yourself away. You cannot lose yourself in some belief system, in some emotional state, or in some relationship. Who you are is not subject to where you go, who you are with, or what you do. The true self in you is not changeable. Everything may change around you, but that self remains the same, no matter how your body looks or feels. No matter how many thoughts or emotions move through your consciousness, no matter if you are in a relationship or alone, that self is the same. Do you know that self, or do you know the one who changes with each thought, each emotion, each situation? Do you know the Creator or the creation? This is not an abstract proposition. All suffering happens in the realm of creation. Emotional pain is felt when your life is experienced in reaction to the thoughts, feelings, and actions of others. You feel discomfort when you think that someone else is creating your experience. When you know that you and you alone are creating your experience, albeit on many levels of consciousness, you stop playing the victim and blaming others for your problems. Instead of giving away your power to others, you claim full responsibility for what you think, feel, and experience. You understand that you as Creator give everything in your life the meaning that it has for you. You decide what is important and what can be overlooked. You decide where to put your energy, time, and attention. If you invested your energy differently, your life would take a different course. You know that no one else is responsible for the choices that you make. So you owe all of your life, all of your choices, even those that you make at an unconscious level. The tapestry of your life is woven by these choices. The thread itself is neutral. It has committed itself to a particular pattern. It is willing to do the pattern you choose. The thread is consciousness. It is the empty vessel awaiting your command, your interpretation, your investment. It is the open reed awaiting your breath. You are one who decides what your life will be. You breathe life into every relationship and every circumstance which comes to your way. Lest you give it life, breath, meaning, purpose, it would have none. None of this exists outside of or apart from you. Yet you think it does. The you know, is an effect, not a cause. This you identifies with outside things and defines itself in relationship to them. And so you are lifted up and dragged down, exalted and humiliated by all the myriad permutations of thought, emotion, and experience. The you know, is affirmed by these identifications and injured by their perpetual rupture. Why keep this drama going? Why seek stability and peace through the other? Why seek self-acceptance through the other's attention, approval, and validation? If you do, won't you be disappointed when the other's attention, approval, and validation go away? Why depend on the other for the love we must learn to give to ourselves? Why look for external approval when we can find that can't say that word. We can find that existential affirmation of self, which is the ground of our being. Oh, I don't want to read that again. To be self is to experience the most profound intimacy with all beings. Ooh, let me read that again. To be self is to experience the most profound intimacy with all beings. There is no separation in the commitment to self. It is the most generous and loving commitment one can make. When each person is committed to truth within, honesty and clarity prevail in human relationships. Partnerships are based on inner strength and outer flexibility, not on emotional neediness and mental rigidity. Relationships between people who are committed to the true self unfold in the present. They do not dwell on the past or live in the anticipation of the future. Those who are committed to self know their relationship prospers the more they honor themselves and tell the truth to each other. Their dance with each other is no different than their dance with self. It is the same dance. As a result, they cannot give themselves away in the relationship. They can only celebrate the truth of who they are.